the face of America is changing. The minority vote, the youth vote, and in part, the women's vote.
The AAPI community is the fastest growing minority in America.
Now, in some swing states, one crucial voting bloc could be Asian Americans.
Asian Americans, the nation's fastest growing minority, surpassed Latinos last year as the largest group of new immigrants, and politicians are beginning to pay attention.
Are you coming too? Yes!
I'm campaigning.
Hear me what?
Campaigning.
Campaigning.
네, 홍수정입니다. 네, 감사합니다. I think most of the people, the Asian Americans that are running for office here in Gwinnett are here, and that makes me so happy that we can be represented. And there are also a lot of Asian Americans that are coming around and learning about us, and so that really says that there is more interest and engagement here. So I'm glad to see the engagement of the people.
When you saw Asian Americans covered in the local newspaper, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, you would see us in the international section, okay? We weren't even seen as full-fledged Americans, as citizens, certainly not political actors.
Probably in the last 10 years is when there is a huge growth, especially the Korean American community within Georgia, but especially in Gwinnett County. So that is the district that I'm running in.
When issues came up around race, even now, honestly, or voting, it was always about black and white, black and white, black and white. Never even a chance thought to think about Latino voters, Asian voters, immigrant voters.
When I was growing up, it was, oh my gosh, what are you eating? Oh my gosh, your house smells different. And so it was more of an embarrassing thing to be Asian American.
There's no other word to describe it except dismal of the turnout. Within 13,000 registered voters in the House district, about 1,200 were of Asian background.
And I started my campaign. I've had a lot of Korean community that have reached out and that are interested in who I am, which is very encouraging. But I know that as far as actually voting, it's always been low.
Even with that small percentage, which was 8 to 10% of the registered voters, the reality is that turnout was even worse. Of the Asian community of about 1,200 registered voters, somewhere between about 10 to 14 individuals had voted.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
I do get asked a lot, hey, you're Asian American, you're female, but you're Republican? What is that? Why? And it's the fact that people are asking that question is the exact reason why I decided to run. I've been going around emphasizing the importance of actually being engaged in voting and knowing what's going on in your community and in your state.
There are a lot of good candidates with a lot of good messages here, but I hope that I can introduce myself to this community and make sure that they really understand that I'm genuine about the different issues that I care about and my service to the community.
It becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, a reinforcing issue too, where campaigns and elected officials don't reach out to those communities because those communities don't vote, and those communities sometimes don't vote because they feel that they're disenfranchised and that no one listens to their issues, and for that reason feel sometimes that it doesn't matter to vote or that voting wouldn't make a difference.
From the conversations that I've had, I think definitely it's the language barrier and the intimidating factor of not knowing how to register to vote, not knowing where the polling place is, and not knowing when you walk into a polling place what to do and how to vote.
We made a concerted effort that we were going to reach out to quote-unquote low propensity voters, because we can't expect people to feel engaged if we're not reaching out to them, if we're not connecting, if we're not listening to them. We tried to ensure that we had different multilingual literature that we would pass out. Even now with the congressional race, when we have meet and greets, when we have any sort of events through our campaign, we acquired language line that would help us, translate if someone needed the translation, because obviously we have multiple different languages that are spoken here in Georgia specifically.
I think Asian Americans, we need to recognize that we are actually a very large, viable community now. And it's no longer enough to just say, well, as long as it's not bothering me. We have to understand our collective part and do it and take action. And I think one of the best parts of being an Asian American is in many of our cultures, we understand the importance of coming together and taking collective action and honoring our community commitments. And I think of voting as that, honoring our community commitments.
Even before I even thought about politics, I've had a lot of clients that said, man, you've done a really good job of helping me. And I hope that you one day become a leader in our community, because we need more leaders that care like you did. And you've really helped my family, and you've really helped us in a very tough time. And so I really take that to heart, and that is one of the reasons why I love my job is kind of getting that feedback and knowing that I've helped people. And I hope that I can do that on a bigger scale with this position.